You're watching the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. Final day of August here in Abilene, Texas. We've got college volleyball for you. The Texas Tech Red Raiders are in town from the Big 12 to take on the Abilene Christian Wildcats. And welcome inside the studio, everybody. Zach Carlisle along with Maddie Miller, Carrie Johnston coming up in just a moment. Well, I think it goes without saying how excited we are to have volleyball back playing in the fall.
No, for sure, Zach. It's definitely been a quick transition from volleyball ending in the spring and turning right back around and starting back here in the fall, but I think they've put in a lot of work, and so they're ready to start off strong this year.
Yeah, both teams off to good starts. Texas Tech 2-1, ACU 2-0. A lot of talent from both of these teams as well. So now let's send you inside the Teague Special Events Center and say hello to the third member of our team, Carrie Johnston.
Thanks, Zach. Both the Wildcats and the Red Raiders are coming off of successful weekends of tournaments. While ACU finished their tournament 2-0 at the ACU Invitational, the Red Raiders finished their tournament 2-1 at the Tennessee Classic. But at both tournaments, there was plenty of strong performances. For the Red Raiders, junior outside hitters Kenneth Sawyer and Reagan Cooper shined with 22 hits apiece. On the other side, senior outside and right side Lindsey Toney finished this tournament with 62 kills and was eventually named the Western Athletic Conference's Offensive Player of the Week. So it will be interesting to see how both teams will create their offense based on these players' successes, as well as try to contain the impressive hitters on the other side. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much. And the lineups are being introduced at inside the Teague Center there, ACU and Texas Tech. So the Wildcats off to a 2-0 start, and Texas Tech off to a 2-1 start. And you and I particularly were impressed with ACU coming up with a couple of wins at home in their last tournament.
Oh, for sure, Zach. This is a very, very scrappy ACU team. Like we talked about earlier, they had a quick transition from the spring to the fall, but they definitely have put in a lot of work since then and have definitely gotten better in a lot of areas. There's
ACU introducing the starters. It's Madison Lawler along with Madison Rohr, Brianna Box. There's Jada Burkle, transfer from Memphis. Lindsey Toney, the WAC Offensive Player of the Week, had a remarkable weekend for ACU. Emily Van Dyke, a sophomore from Michigan. And Braden Bozier, sophomore from Fairfield, Texas, year 2 with the Wildcats. And then the libero, Madison Lawler, the grad transfer from Southern Miss, had over 1,400 digs in her Southern Miss career before coming to Abilene, Texas.
Serving for the Wildcats to start the match, number 5, Madison Rohr. Back to serve is number 5, Madison Gillum. Correction, serving is KJ Adams.
And this best of 5. All right, ACU on the move for the first time. They'll go to Lindsay Tony. And a misfire to make it 2-0 Texas Tech. Go to Bozier in the middle, and now the Wildcats will have a second chance at it. Back to Bozier from the middle. ACU's on the board.
That was a great save by Madison Rory to get up there. It's hard for those setters to stay below the net sometimes.
Coach Mooney talked about serve, receive, and then serving after you score, trying to get Texas Tech out of rhythm. She feels that's going to be a big key to them having success here tonight.
It for sure is. Serve receive's a big deal because it keeps your players in system. When you have a lot of balls that are off the net during serve receive, it just makes it hard to find your hitters where you want to put the ball.
On the left side for Texas Tech.
Back to serve is Alex Kirby.
A 3-1 start for the Red Raiders on the road. These two teams last played in 2019. Back at it here in 2021. ACU responds with its second point. It's Bozier out of the middle again. Angela Mooney in year number 5 as the Wildcat head coach, a native of Lubbock, Texas, and played at Texas Tech, has a lot of connections to that area. As her ladies off to a 2-0 start.
That was a pretty good serve.
Good action there. A little soft touch from Caitlin Dugan. Dugan, a junior from Arizona. All Big 12 second team a year ago. Maddie Correa, the freshman from San Antonio, is going to serve it for the Red Raiders. Net play is going to be big for the Wildcats tonight as well. Taking on a big, strong, athletic bunch from Texas Tech. A misfire for ACU.
That just goes back to that serve receive. Those passes are just a little off the net, and it makes it a little hard to stay in system.
Tony goes deep. ACU to the right side. That time it worked.
Yeah, a little bit of a better pass there to the right front.
Jada Burkle, Roar with another assist. Burkle, a native of Austin, Texas, started her career at Memphis. Now first-year Wildcat. Logan Browning serving for ACU. Lawler with a heck of a dig, but it goes wide. Big part of it may be staying in it for ACU in the first set and not letting it get too far away too quickly when you're going up against a big-time school like this.
I would agree, Zach. Keeping big-time players just out of system and trying to keep the score close is definitely one of the biggest keys that you can have when you play against players like Texas Tech has.
Emily Van Dyke tried it for the Wildcats. ACU to the middle, Bree Box. We say hello to Tony Greystone, sixth-year head coach in Lubbock, and his 23rd year as a head coach. Over 500 wins, was hired in 2016 for the Red Raiders. Was around the Southland Conference a little bit, coaching at Texas A&M Corpus Christi before going to Lubbock. Red Raiders try the right side with Dugan. Well, they go back to her. Caitlin Dugan, right side. Got it. And Tech goes up 7-4. Alex Kirby is going to set up a lot of her teammates for Texas Tech. Really one of the leaders of that offense. Her and Roar will be heard from a lot tonight. ACU goes left side, and it's back to Tony, who is just off to an incredible start, leading the country in kills per set, almost 7 through the first weekend.
She has been very efficient this season so far, and granted they haven't played a lot of games, but every time they get her the ball, she's been trying to figure out a different ways to score each game, and it's definitely been working for the Wildcats.
Roar tried to make it happen at the net, but Tech goes up 8-5. Attack error on Roar. And then a service error for the Red Raiders. I'll be very interested to see how this first set goes. You know, ACU in the comfort of playing at home. Tech hasn't been at home yet to the opening weekend. They were in Tennessee. But a short trip for the Red Raiders. ACU back at it to make it a 1-point game.
I think, like you said, Zach, depending on how this first set goes, I think is really going to determine the flow of the game for the Wildcats, because if you can keep it close and maybe take a set or two off of these guys, like that gives you a lot of confidence going into the following sets.
Well, that had some
Heat
fire
behind it.
Reagan Cooper, the junior from Rowlett, Texas, a Washington State transfer in her second year with Texas Tech as well. To the middle. Burkle was denied at
That
the
was
net.
a very big block.
Tech so good at the net so far. Brooke Canis, Cooper, a lot of height, 6'1", 6'2". A little bit out of system, but Tony knocked it over, and then a wide misfire from Texas Tech trying to respond quickly. There's Tony, the senior from New Braunfels, Texas. Not so much on the serve. What are you seeing so far?
I think ACU is doing a really good job of staying in it point for point. They're making a few errors with the serve receive, like we talked about in the beginning. Getting the passes off the net so your setter can play all her hitters where she wants them is going to be key, and that's what they've struggled with a little bit. But when they get that set up there, man, they can make it work. That was a great hit from the right side. Jada Burkle, she's been really good for the Wildcats this year.
Yeah, it seems like when they get in and get it organized, they have chances. There's Burkle on the right side, and Tony can move all around, do a little bit of everything. Bozier serves. Oh, that's great placement from the Red Raiders. Brooke Canis, just a senior, just a veteran. Been around a little bit of everything for Tech and was dominant even when she first got to Lubbock. She's named to the All Big 12 rookie team in 2018. Roar sets it up, and denied was Emily Van Dyke. Great block from the Red Raiders. Looked like Dugan and Canis. Roar sets up box. They're in a box with her second kill of the night.
That was a better pass off the serve receive, and she's able to run her middle once she gets the pass up there to the front. Keeping them in this game is serve receive closest to the net.
Logan Browning, number 16, a junior from Wichita Falls, Texas. Back to Dugan on the right side for Tech. It's going to be a challenge at the net for the Wildcats tonight. That's a lot of force and a lot of firepower coming from the team in black.
It for sure is, Zach, and like we talked about their heights before, like they're very tall. They take up a lot of space up there at the net. So, and they're very powerful hitters as well, so they're going to be able to hit through the blocks if they're not up there strong at the top.
Emily Van Dyke responds. You actually got to like how ACU has hung in there so far. If you're a Wildcat fan, Van Dyke to serve. They'll try the right side. It is Dugan again. Texas Tech off to the 15-11 start. We'll take our first time out here in Abilene. You're watching the WAC on ESPN. Back inside the Teague Special Events Center here in Abilene, Texas Tech in town. Taking on ACU. 15-11 Texas Tech. Quite remarkably, ACU's in this thing, despite the fact that the Red Raiders are hitting .421 so far to start tonight.
They're definitely coming out then with some heat from the other side of the net, but I think the ACU Wildcats have done a really good job of capitalizing on the opportunities that they've gotten so far when they get the ball in system and they get to pick their hitters and where they want to place the ball within their offense.
Torres served it up for Tech. ACU goes to Tony on the left side.
She has just been so efficient so far this season. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's almost hard to comprehend what she did in that opening weekend. Easily earning her WAC Offensive Player of the Week. Breaking a lot of ACU records as well. Tech goes to the middle. Oh, ACU a chance to respond. Left side, ACU playing defense. Transition game, Tony. Battle back and forth. Did that go over? No, it did not. Point to the Red Raiders. Both teams fought hard that time.
I think that one ball came off the ceiling,
Yeah.
Zach. I think they got a little assist from the ceiling there for a second.
But back to Tony a little bit, just some of the things that you saw. 33 kills in the season opener against Texas Arlington set a new ACU record. And then she backed it up and did her thing. And ended up with 62 kills for the weekend. So not only 33, backed it up with 29 a day later against UIW. Service error here.
Well, you know, you can credit a lot of that, too, to your setting. Madison Rohr had an amazing weekend as well in the tournament, just to be able to put the ball right where Lindsay needed it, to be able to score consistently, and that really, they were just on clicking very well this past weekend. And it showed in stats-wise for both of them.
No question, yeah. Rohr was another one. 59 assists in the win over UT Arlington. That set an ACU record. 17-14 first set action. Another service mistake.
ACU is doing really good at staying close, but they have a few service errors that's given the Raiders a few points.
See how Tech comes right back. Not a lot of teams going on runs so far in this opening set. ACU to the middle with Bozier. They'll go from the back, and it worked. To perfection for Texas Tech. I couldn't tell on the number, and it was Samantha Sanders. And why wouldn't it be Samantha Sanders? One of the great ones, a fifth-year senior from Waco for Tech. Right side ACU, Burkle had it denied, but it's wide.
That's going to be a big advantage at ACU. If they can take advantage of how big that block is and use it and try to hit balls off of it to go out of bounds, that can be a way that they can consistently score throughout the night.
Stays a 4-point difference. ECU blocked away. Van Dyke, no chance. And Tech goes up 5. Brooke Canis and Reagan Cooper on the block. Fun to watch. Left side. Van Dyke was wide. That looked awkward from the Wildcats there.
Yeah, like you said, it's just defense and serve receive too. Like keeping the ball out of system makes it very hard for you to run your offense consistently, and then you have out of system balls, and it just makes it really hard to score.
They'll try the left side. ACU ready for it with Lawler. They try the back with Tony, and not so much. Tech with its largest lead. Timeout, ACU. All of a sudden, a 22-15 lead and a little bit of a 3-0 run here for Tech. And it's a little bit of everything right now for the Red Raiders.
It definitely is, and it's also ACU has a few errors on their side that are unforced. Just bad passing, serve receives going over the net, not having a chance to run your offense. And it's going to be, when you put the ball on the other side for a team like Tech, it's going to be really hard to play defense coming back at you when they're going to come back firing away.
Yeah, we've seen 3 service errors from the Wildcats, a couple of attack errors, and back-to-back attack errors from Emily Van Dyke and Lindsey Tony. Make it a 22-15 start. 8 attack errors so far in this first set for Abilene Christian.
You know, you can be mad at it, but I think it's honestly a good thing that they're coming out trying to be aggressive. I think with a team like Tech, you can't come out soft and you can't come out trying not to win. You got to come out guns a-blazing, trying to fire away and see if you can score, being aggressive.
Texas Tech, we mentioned, and you see at the bottom of your screen, 2-1 on this season. Wins over East Tennessee State and NC State, losing to Tennessee. All of that at the Tennessee Classic in Knoxville, hosted by the Volunteers of the SEC. Maddie Correa ready to serve it up out of this timeout. Correa, a freshman from San Antonio. Back to action we go. Box from the middle. That worked a couple of times early, but a misfire here, the 9th attack error for the Wildcats. Tech with an 8-point lead. We mentioned nobody had gone on a run yet. Now the Red Raiders are pulling away, up by 8. Correa again. ACU organized, and Jada Burkle, a good response.
She's had a couple successful hits from that side. I think they need to keep trying to feed her the ball when they have their passing in system.
So Logan Browning will serve it. Left side for Tech, and that worked. A point right back for the Red Raiders. And now we've come to first set point. Hard to see some of those numbers on that side to tell who got the kill, but it is Mackenzie Morgan, number 20. ACU on the attack, and they will respond with a much-needed 17th point. But a long way to go here at set 1 for ACU.
Yeah, but I think they have really done a good job just keeping it close. I know Tech went on a run at the end of this set, but I think it just shows them that they can play with them if they just come out and make less hitting errors, less serve-receive errors.
Right side, Caitlin Dugan puts an end to set number 1, 25-17, Texas Tech. Off to a 1-0 start on ESPN. Back in Abilene, Texas, for set number 2 here in Abilene, and we send it down to the Teague Center and Kerry Johnston.
Zach, what proved to be the difference maker in the first set had to be all of ACU's unforced errors. In the first set, ACU had 13 total errors, with 3 of them from the serving line and 9 hitting errors. If the Wildcats want to be able to hang with the Red Raiders, they will need to cut down on those unforced errors. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, to your point, Carrie, 9 attack errors, 3 service errors. Meanwhile, Texas Tech is also hitting .414, so you can't say anything about how Tech is getting help and everything like that. They're also hitting .414, so a combination of those things allowed Texas Tech to win the first set by 8.
Their offense is flowing very well right now. They have the ball where they want to place it. They're playing great defense, and they're having really good serve receive too, and it makes a big difference when you can get the ball to the net at your setter. You can pick whichever hitter you want to get the ball to, and it makes a big difference when it comes to your hitting percentage.
So set number 2, I think the easy thing is for ACU to kind of settle down and force, Tech to receive the ball a little bit more and play a little more defense, because it looks like ACU just is a little uncomfortable right now, and maybe some of those errors are happening because of that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that they're trying to be aggressive, but I think that they need to be aggressive while not making so many errors themselves and give them so many points.
Texas Tech will serve as we approach the second set here tonight. ACU on the move to box in the middle. Soft touch. Good attempt from Browning at a dig, but it is the kill. And a 1-0 start for Tech.
After somebody's hit a ball at you really, really hard a few times, you tend to back up a little bit, and when they tip right over the block, it makes it a little bit harder to get there sometimes, Zach.
Reagan Cooper with the kill. The assist from Alex Kirby. ACU from the back line gets a point.
That was an out-of-system ball that worked out in their favor. A little bit of a hustle from the back row defense.
Madison Lawler to serve it. And that was Bradley Steinhilber who had the kill for the Wildcats, a freshman. Back line, there's Lawler defending, but not enough.
Those balls are coming off their arms so hard. Tech is hitting the ball so hard. But every ball that they have right now is in system. They have the ball going to their setter at the net every single time. That setter can pick 4 hitters on the court to give the ball to each time. And ACU's got to do a better job of putting them out of system.
Kenna Sauer, a junior out of Ankeny, Iowa, has the ball at the net here, and that's going to go ACU's way. Jada Burkle enters in for the Wildcats.
Was that Madison Rohr on the block right there?
I think it was.
You love to see a setter win a joust with a middle against a Big 12 school. That's amazing.
Yeah, Rohr gets the kill at the net. Browning gets the assist. Bozier from the middle. Lawler sets it up. Tech from the middle. That was nice. Brooke Canis, the senior wearing number 21. Man, that's hard to tell right there in the middle of the court.
Their jerseys for sure look very camouflaged.
On the screen that we're watching that is deep, but off the deflection and the point for Texas Tech, and I think it was Dugan. First time we've seen a team score consistently. Tech up 4-2. Oh, that is just unfortunate, but it'll go Texas Tech's way. Sometimes you get a bounce.
Dugan is having a really good night right now with her hitting percentage being 62.5. She's matched Samantha Sanders with kills so far.
A couple of really good players for Tech. They'll set up Dugan here. Soft touch. ACU responds. Bozier from the middle. Back to Dugan again. Another chance. A little more firepower on it that time, and it worked.
Turns out of bounds for Texas Tech.
They mix up the soft touch and the strong hitting, and tell you what, it's fun to watch it.
They're definitely giving ACU a lot of different looks, and it's keeping them on their toes. Defense is kind of struggling too, figuring out which one they're going to get each time. A lot of out-of-system balls from the defense as well.
ACU recovered defensively. They'll set up the middle. Boy, Tech, when they get organized, look out. That's Canis with a bomb from the middle.
Fans, your ACU soccer team will be Sunday, September 5th at 1.
Timeout on the floor. Texas Tech off to a 7-2 start. They've scored 5 here in a row. A current 5-0 run for Texas Tech as we take you inside this very well done Teague Center that is now serving its second season as the home of Wildcat Volleyball. It is technically a temporary solution for ACU, but they were playing the volleyball in the spring here in Teague, and it's all because of renovations to Moody Coliseum, their typical home for volleyball and men's and women's basketball.
I think Moody is going to be beautiful when it's done, and I'm sad that they don't get to play in there this year, but I'm very excited to see what next season will look like when they get to get in there for the first time.
No question, that will be next fall for the Wildcats, where they can play volleyball in the new facility.
That might
Much
be the
needed
only
point there.
That might be the only downfall of them playing in the fall this year.
Yeah.
If they played in the spring, they might have been able to sneak
Might have
in
a
there a few
chance.
games.
No kidding. Here's Tech on the right side. ACU responded to a couple of much-needed points here in this second set. Tech won the first one 25-17. That's 3 in a row. A nice response from ACU. Bozier in the middle.
I think middles are going to be a big key in this game for ACU, but that also leads to defense and serve receive. They have to be able to get the ball to the net so Madison can put the ball in the middle's hands too, because you don't want to just run an offense with 2 hitters on your back and on your outside. And so being able to keep Bozier and Box involved throughout the game is going to be a big key, I think.
Yeah, how important is it to not just rely on Tony and Burkle each and every single time?
I mean, if I'm a Tech middle on the other side and they're running out-of-system balls most of the time, it's so much easier to figure out which way the setter for ACU is going to put the ball, whether they're going to throw it back or throw it to the outside. They know they're either going one way or the other, and they can't have their middle hitter as another option.
Caitlin Dugan answers back for Tech again. You see KJ Adams there, the grad libero, native of Texas, but that's Caitlin Dugan from Gilbert, Arizona. Well, we want to get into KJ Adams. We'll talk about her in just a little bit. Graduate transfer. You know, a lot of folks that have a lot of eligibility these days because of last season going through COVID-19 and the pandemic, and everyone got a free year.
I think rosters definitely are looking a bit interesting with all those extra years to give.
Bigger rosters these days for everybody, and in particular for Tech tonight, we've already seen 14 Red Raiders in this match. ACU left side, they go to the freshman Steinhilber from Kennedale, Texas. But Tech responds. And Correa is ready to serve, and the Red Raiders have their largest lead at 11-5 on a 4-0 run. ACU tries to set it up. It's Burkle, and a misfire.
That was a better pass from the back row that time. I think if they consistently get passes up to the front like that, they might start to have a little bit more success from all their hitters.
That dig right there you were talking about, yeah.
Yeah, Zach.
Try to get it to Roar. Lawler diving on the floor. Tech diving on the floor as well. That was Correa, I think. Now on the left side, but a misfire here.
Tech is doing a great job of keeping the ACU Wildcats guessing on their serve. Sometimes they pound it in, and sometimes they try to go for the short serve, and it's making Lawler get all over the floor, short, deep. She's everywhere, trying to figure out where they're going to put that serve.
To me, the casual fan might not even recognize how important the serve is. It might be the single most important thing you see to get the point started.
Well, I mean, like you said, like it's what starts the play. Like I think it sets the tone for the team. If somebody from the back row serves a pretty good ball, then I'm my teammate, I'm thinking, thank God, like I'm going to go out there and we're going to get this ball back. And their defense, Tech is just firing away.
ACU recovers, but the Red Raiders were never out of formation. Drop it down again. ACU recovered here, but Tech never had to worry about it, and I think that was Maddie O'Brien, the sophomore from Katy, Texas. Again, the serve receive goes wide. ACU recovers, but then Tech responds easily. 15th point. 15 of the first 21 go to Texas Tech.
Caitlin Dugan with 8 kills so far, hitting 500 right now. She is having a really, really good night.
You know, we were talking to Angela Mooney, ACU's head coach, about it too, and just she knew that, can we serve correctly? Can we receive the serve correctly? And a net play, obviously, as well, is going to be some of the big keys tonight. Tech has really done a good job at all of those things. But Coach Mooney knows the task at hand.
You know, she definitely knows what she's talking about, and she knows what Tech's going to come with when they come into this gym. She knows what they're going to bring and the intensity that they're going to have. What she's worried about is what her team's going to bring and what they're going to be able to do correctly tonight.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Mooney, too, about that match. The last time Tech was here was in 2018. And Texas Tech won 3-0 in straight sets, but Coach Mooney thought they had a great opportunity. A few things go their way. They thought they played well enough to even have a chance to get that to 4 and 5 3 years ago. But that was in Moody Coliseum in 2018 as Texas Tech won that one 3-0. They then won in straight sets in 2019 over ACU as well. Now they're playing in the Teague Center. Here's why they're playing in the Teague Center. Moody Coliseum undergoing a renovation. That is currently, as of the end of August 2021, what it looks like. Current renovation that they're doing to Moody Coliseum. It looks like it's making progress for sure, doesn't it, Maddie?
You know, for the last couple weeks, you could see straight through the building from one side to the other if you stood in the parking lot of Moody. But I think it's been very promising to a lot of people to see that they've started to like enclose the walls and stuff. So it looks like there's been a lot of progress there.
Absolutely, and that's what it will look like when this is all said and done.
It will match the Teague Center on the outside, so it'll be a little bit prettier to look at from the parking lot.
No kidding. It's going to be a one-of-a-kind facility. One of the great ones in all of the non-Power 5s in Texas is what a lot of folks think this is going to look like when Moody Coliseum is completely renovated. Right now happening in the Teague Center, though, is Texas Tech dominating here in set number 2. They've looked phenomenal, as we've expected them to look here tonight, but they've looked really good specifically here in this second set.
I'm interested to see if their coach had anything to say about letting ACU play a little closer than last set, because they did play point for point until the very end. But they definitely have come out and been a powerhouse this second set.
Tech went through some ups and downs last year for sure. Going 9-13, 5-11 in the Big 12. There's a much-needed point for Abilene Christian, 7th of the night. Well-packed house in the Teague Center tonight.
It's nice to see the full stands again. It was limited last year because of COVID, and so being able to have a lot of fans in and students be able to come has been, I think, is going to make a difference this year for a lot of teams that play in Teague.
Yeah, I don't think we can stress that enough, just to have full capacity allowed again at different events. Really fun to see. Box in the middle for the Wildcats.
Box is so good at turning that ball and hitting back towards the setter on the other side. It is so hard to do that as a middle, to come in with your shoulders squared to your setter and then have to turn your body completely to hit the other side of the court. And she does that so well, and she scores very well off of it every time she does it.
From the middle, they go to O'Brien. On the right side is Tatum Rome for the Red Raiders, number 14. Now on the
Good
left
hustle
side.
by Logan Downey.
Yeah, AC recovered. Tech sets it up again. They'll try the left side. They'll knock it down for the 18th point of the night.
There was only a single block on that one, so she pretty much had the entire court to figure out where she wanted to put that ball.
It's a good effort from ACU to respond a couple of times. Look at Browning there. That was some kind of effort there. And then a service error from Texas Tech. Yeah, that 26th point was a long volley between the two. Tech doubling up ACU 18-9 here in the second.
Somebody was in the net right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was the Tech setter. That would probably be one of their very few serve-receive errors, I would say.
And for some of the viewers that might be wondering, when you say in the net for Texas Tech, you're referring to the setter.
Yeah.
Doing what?
When the setter jumps, they're not allowed to touch the net at all, especially when it's on their side and they're going for the ball. If they're back row, they're not allowed to put their hands above the net either, because then they're considered a front row player. So they have to make sure that they watch what they're doing all times when they get that close to the net.
The little intricacies that can affect and give points to the other team. ACU goes to Lindsey Toney on the left side to get back within 6. ACU on a 4-0 run.
That was a well-needed kill from Lindsey Toney. I think she's been itching to get a good one there, and that looked like what we saw a lot of this weekend.
From the middle, Lawler. That's a heck of a diving effort. And then the Red Raiders go back to the left side for the kill. Kenna Sauer, junior from Ankeny Centennial High School in Ankeny, Iowa. A transfer from Missouri out of the SEC. Spent a couple of years there with the Tigers before coming to Lubbock, Texas. Net play there from Tech. I think it was O'Brien. So Sauer to serve it up again. Tech the first to 20 and an 8-point lead. Right side and another deny at the net. I'm very curious to see how good the net play for Tech will be when they get into Big 12 play as well, because they do have some talent at the net.
They definitely do, and they're doing a really good job of utilizing it tonight. I think it's definitely throwing ACU through a loop, trying to hit around it. There's another one.
Right
it's just
there.
a huge, huge block. Hitting around that and over that is very, very hard.
Maddie O'Brien, a sophomore from Cinco Ranch High School in Katy, Texas, just outside of the Houston area. And a service ace for Sauer. Boy, ACU goes on a 4-0 run to make it 18-12. Now it's 5 in a row for Tech. Just like that, 2 points away from a 2-0 lead.
They've really had a lot of service pressure this game, this set, and I think it's made a big difference on why the scoring is so much different this game. They've definitely gotten the ACU out of sorts for most of their serves.
ACU soft touch in the middle. Back row denied, and a point for the Wildcats. ACU at the net. It was Box and Toney, among others. They'll go the attack error to Sauer. Left side, and that's a misfire. We've seen a grand total of 19 attack errors tonight. Second chance. And Morgan McKenzie.
That was a great attack by Braden Bozier, and that's what I mean by getting the middles involved. Having your ball get to the front of the net so you can get all three hitters involved definitely makes a difference. Braden took advantage of that one getting there.
Had to quickly get back to her spot and be ready for it. Tony left side. Tony again denied. Can they try it a third time?
She tried to mix it up a little bit there.
Tech's defense is dominant. Another deny. That is something to watch for the Red Raiders. A little bit of everybody can do it at the net right now for Tech.
Yeah, they're definitely hitting on all cylinders, from hitting to blocking. They're definitely getting above the net and making it really, really hard for the ACU Wildcats to have any type of success at the net.
First set point for Texas Tech here in set number 2. They won in straight sets against East Tennessee State. Lost 3-0 to Tennessee before winning in 5 against NC State. A really good one on Saturday. Tony blocked, and Texas Tech wins it by 10 in set number 2. Texas Tech off to a 2-0 start. We head to the third on ESPN. Back in Abilene, Texas. The Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. College volleyball tonight. Texas Tech up 2-0 over Abilene Christian. Glad to have you with us. Zach Carlisle, Maddie Miller, Carrie Johnson. And it was Tech winning the first set 25-17, and then Tech winning 25-15 in the second as they go for the potential sweep here tonight in Abilene, Texas. There's Angela Mooney, the 5th-year head coach of ACU, enjoying her birthday today as well. So, a happy birthday to the head coach of the Abilene Christian Wildcats. So, Texas Tech, I thought, even ramped it up, and they had all kinds of different substitutes and changes in that second set, and everyone looked great. I was really impressed with what I saw from Tech in set number 2.
I agree, Zach, and I think we can just put most of that set to their activity at the net. They were hitting on all cylinders at the net, from blocking to attacks. They were just superb in that category.
And so the Wildcats will come on back out onto the floor before we get ready for set number 3. We send it down to the third member of our team, Carrie Johnston.
While ACU has struggled with errors, Texas Tech has not, and their kill count proves it. Over the past 2 sets, the Red Raiders have had 27 kills while hitting .313%. Leading the Red Raiders in kills is Caitlin Dugan with 8 kills. So if Tech continues hitting the way they are, it will be hard for the Wildcats to stop them and their momentum. Guys, back to you.
Carrie, thank you very much. Yeah, and then to throw on top of that, the Tech's hitting .313 tonight. ACU hitting just 104. 15 attack errors.
ACU definitely has had a hard time putting the ball down and finding the floor on the other side. But the block that they're trying to hit around right now is just insane. Tech is getting their hands on everything.
And at some point, we will get ready to go for the third set here. And away we go. ACU served it, and Texas Tech off to a 1-0 start yet. Again, they are the ones who have gone up 1-0 in all 3 sets here tonight. Tech left side, 2-0 Red Raiders.
I'll be interested to see how she serves this ball, Zach, because the first one was a dagger, and then that one was super, super light. They've just been switching it up so much from the service line, and it's definitely affecting ACU a little bit from their serve receive.
Back row pushover. Here come the Wildcats. They'll try Tony left side. Got it. First point of the third set for ACU. Abilene Christian hit 232 in the 2 wins over UT Arlington and Incarnate Word. Over the weekend, Tech hit 193 in their 3 matches. And ACU right now tops in the WAC and 12th nationally in attacks per set. They are getting their opportunities. They've tied this thing up 2-2 here in this third set. Trying to get Tech out of formation. It really hasn't worked, but that's a misfire from Caitlin Dugan.
One of her many errors is tonight, right?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
She's been super, super efficient from the net.
8 kills, just 2 mistakes in that regard. And you see the libero, KJ Adams, number 1 for Texas Tech. A grad transfer from Grand Canyon University, GCU in Arizona. Native of Texas, was the actually was the WAC libero of the year this past spring for Grand Canyon. GCU now in the same conference as Abilene Christian as ACU moved over to the WAC this year. Net play for the Wildcats and the response from the Red Raiders at the net. I couldn't tell if that was Alex Kirby or not. But Torres will serve. It was Kirby with the set to put, with the kill rather, to put Tech up 4-3. Left side, Briley Steinhilber, the freshman for ACU.
Looked like Tech was in the net that time.
Talking a little bit about Steinhilber, Angela Mooney saying how well she blocked against UT Arlington was a big factor in the way that ACU was able to win that one to start the year, winning 3-1 over the Mavericks. There's a block at the net. How many times have we seen great net play tonight?
Man, Tech is putting on a blocking clinic right now. They are doing really, really well at the net, touching almost every ball that's coming across. And, man, they're scoring because of it.
Block number 9 for the Red Raiders. Kenna Sauer and Maddie O'Brien combined. It was almost over, but ACU is able to pull it back and then get the kill themselves.
That was a good heads-up play by Box.
Not an easy ball to read either, right?
No, definitely bounced weird off the setter's hands, but worked out for their favor this time.
Logan Browning's going to serve it. Junior from Wichita Falls, Texas. Left side again. Tech really knows how to make it look easy sometimes. Tonight, this is a very confident group of Red Raiders.
Definitely gelling very well. Most of their balls are in system, though, which is definitely helping them out a lot. The back row and, like you talked about, KJ Adams has done a really, really good job of getting the ball back on the net for her setter. And it's making a difference in the hitting percentage as well. That
was Reagan Cooper who had that last kill for Tech to make it 6-5. Now 7-5 lead. As they try to make it a quick night here at Abilene. Surprisingly, as ACU's on the move. Get back to what I was surprised about here in a second. Here's Box, got it. Here's what I'm a little surprised about when I was digging and looking at some notes for this game. This is the 36th time ACU is playing Texas Tech, considering how long the Wildcats were members of Division II.
I think you could kind of consider Tech our neighbors in a way.
A little bit, yeah.
We're all out here in
To
the
the
big
northwest.
country. Yeah.
That's right.
I think it's pretty convenient, pretty common that we play them a few times in many different sports.
The West Texas neighbors. About 2.5 hours away. It's only about 167 miles to the northwest. Up in Lubbock. Tech leads the all-time series, by the way, 33-2. ACU did win in 2013, the last time they beat the Red Raiders. First year of Division I. That was a big night at Moody Coliseum. That is Tony, and it's a misfire. Reminder, the college football season starts this weekend. ACU at SMU in Dallas. Saturday, September the 4th, 6 o'clock start on ESPN+. Left side there, Tech on a 3-0 run to go up 10-6 at a timeout. Be a timeout on the floor. Texas Tech trying to win this thing in straight sets. Leading it 10-6, and we are going to keep it here with Tech up 2-0. ACU now hitting 098 and Tech hitting 325 tonight. But no doubt, I think easily tonight can be looked at by looking at a 10-0 advantage in blocks for the Red Raiders.
Oh, that's definitely been one of the biggest differences in this game tonight is that Tech is just a powerhouse up there on the net right now and playing amazing defense with their blocking. And ACU's just had a little bit of a hard time trying to figure out how to hit around it and score.
Here's the upcoming schedule for ACU. They're staying here in Abilene. They will host the Wildcat Classic. New Mexico, Green Bay, and Texas Southern are all coming to Abilene Friday and Saturday. Night game with New Mexico at 7 o'clock, and then 2 games on Saturday, Green Bay and Texas Southern.
One thing I think you have to credit the Wildcats for right now is they haven't really given up. Even last set, they went down kind of fast, and they didn't yield. They kept trying to be aggressive on service, on serves, and at the net, and kind of almost worked out in Tech's favor a little bit. But they've stayed aggressive throughout these couple sets.
And they're giving themselves some chances with the attacks, but the attack errors have been pretty common for ACU tonight. That is the 19th attack error for the Wildcats.
I think they're trying to find that sweet spot around the block right now. Haven't quite found it yet. There's Lawler on the ground again.
And they use her entire body, and then Tony's denied. At least I thought she was.
I think that one came off the block out of bounds, Zach.
I think so. Wide on the block, make it 11-7, and that stops a little bit of the bleeding. For Abilene Christian, back to the middle and right back at it. So much firepower from Tech. Was that Madison Gilliland? Yes, it was. Kirby with the assist. I heard much from the freshman from Coppell, Texas, out of the middle. Stands at 6'2", does Gilliland, though. A lot of length, a lot of height. We talked to Angela Mooney a little bit, too. She's excited about her length and height and athleticism that she doesn't feel like she's really had until now.
She definitely has recruited a couple of athletes, some tall athletes the last couple of years, and lots of them are still young and have chances to be really, really good here. And I think that's been a big difference. Braden Bozier is just a great example of that. She's only a sophomore this year. Got a little bit of experience last year with COVID and playing in the spring a little bit, but she's definitely going to be a big key player for this team in the next couple of years.
You want to talk about youth against experience tonight. Tony left side. Texas Tech with 16 upperclassmen, a graduate student, 7 seniors, one of them a fifth year, and 8 juniors on this roster for the Red Raiders. On the other side, 9 total upperclassmen for ACU. They've got 6 sophomores and 3 freshmen.
And that makes a big difference, Zach. Experience, especially at this level, makes a really big difference, especially when you're playing a Big 12 opponent.
I'm interested, too. That's a misfire from Lindsey Tony. I am very interested in just the quick turnaround. This is the shortest offseason anybody will ever have, playing from the spring and then right away into the fall. I mean, the postseasons last year were in April. And all that made last year, I mean, that's 4 months ago. It's a very quick turnaround.
Very quick turnaround, and you can honestly, it's crazy to think that they got new players in that span of time too and worked out for not a very long time before they started playing games again. And that's teams all around the country. So that's just been something that we could honestly credit the volleyball programs all around the world for.
Bozier and Rohr at the net for ACU that time. And something else too that was interesting when you think about that is most of the summer you're not allowed to do anything with your team formally. Nothing's formal, and so you have a lot of new players who have to get ready very, very quickly and recover from the spring, because that's part of the process too that I think a lot of folks don't think about necessarily. Nice net play there.
Oh, they definitely went home for a few weeks in the summer and came right back and started right back up where they left off. And honestly, sometimes that can't be a bad thing. And I know I've talked to Angela Mooney about how she was grateful for the time that she got in the fall because they had such a young team last year. And so being able to have that time with her young team last year and then just kind of carry over it from the spring to the fall this year, I think has been good for her.
You go from having darn near a year and a half between matches, and then you do it in a less than a 4-month span to go from one season to the next. It's just been so strange with this pandemic and everything that's happened the last 18 months. Tony left side, denied. Will they give her a second chance? No, they'll go Bozier's way, and that will work for ECU.
That was a good little switch up by Braden Bozier. Looks like she tried to hit it up, 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 and over that block.
It's interesting because we saw that a couple of times where they went to Tony 3 straight times, and that time they switched it up to go to the middle.
Well, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about out-of-system balls and stuff. Sometimes that's your only option. Like that, your outside hitter is your only option sometimes. But depending on how the ball comes off the block and where the setter is when she gets to the ball, that's why it's so much easier to place each ball for each different hitter when you can get the ball in system into right front on the net where the setter wants to be.
Tech with point number 19, 6 away from ending the night for the Red Raiders. This has been some kind of performance from Texas Tech tonight. Tech picked 7th in the Big 12 preseason poll. Texas was picked to win it. Baylor following them. K-State, Kansas, Iowa State picked 5th. West Virginia 6th in that 10-team league. Samantha Sanders is preseason, all Big 12 for the Red Raiders. Bozier in the middle for the Wildcats. ACU in the new look WAC division. Talking about that a little bit as ACU's in its first year in the WAC, and they're in the Southwest division. Stephen F. Austin, preseason favorite to win that one. ACU picked 4th in that 16 division. How about Texas Tech? The Red Raiders, where are they going from here? They are heading home to Lubbock this weekend for the Red Raider Classic. Texas State, Rhode Island, and the Ohio State Buckeyes will come to town. this weekend, and they will be home for the first time in the young season. Be curious to see what the outlook will look like for Tech in 2021. Tech's off to I shouldn't say off to a 20-10 start. They're 5 points away from ending the night. You know, that's what's nice about us doing these games on ESPN and get a chance to see teams like Texas Tech. I'm excited to see what kind of season they can have in the Big 12.
Oh yeah, and especially with all the upperclassmen that they have, I think that they can have a really, really good season just with all the experience that they have as a whole. And it looks like they're pretty motivated to do pretty good at the net this year as well.
Yeah, no kidding. Tony Greystone, a great coach. 5-time Lone Star Coach of the Year when he was the coach at West Texas A&M. He's also a 5-time Division II Region Coach of the Year back then when he was coaching for WT, and then was the Southland Coach of the Year in 2015 in his final year when he was the head coach at Texas A&M Corpus Christi before he's been hired by Texas Tech. The Red Raiders will get their 3rd win of the year. The outlook does not change, in my opinion, for Abilene Christian as well, though. They have, I mean, this game is a game that, quite honestly, they are not, you go in thinking when you're playing a Power 5, you're not really supposed to, quote unquote, supposed to win a game like this. And I think everything is still out in front of this very good, young, athletic team for ACU.
No, for sure. I think playing teams like this is very, very important, especially for programs like ACU, because it shows you, like, they have so much adversity in one game. It shows them how to be able to play through that and just look at different options when things aren't working. And it's going to help them play against WAC opponents in the future, I think, as well.
I mean, you gotta love that when a team like that is on your schedule, because you know it's going to be nothing but getting better when you get to play a team like Texas Tech. We've seen a lot of ACU teams over the years in different sports that get a chance to play games like this. It's only going to make you better as a team.
Exactly, and I don't know how many more nets they're going to see that are this big this year,
kidding.
especially in the WAC conference.
Tech up 21-10. Right side for ACU. The 11th point, Jada Burkle. Haven't called her name in a little while, the junior from Austin. Talking to Coach Mooney. You know, is the transfer portal something you've done a lot of? Really not much until this year. This is really the first time they felt like they had a chance to add some depth and challenge at some certain positions, and went in the transfer portal and found a couple of really good players. Jada Burkle, one of them.
Yeah, they definitely brought in a few transfers that have definitely come in and made a difference right off the bat for the Wildcats.
3 of them. Madison Lawler, another one, and London Gray, hasn't seen the floor yet, but a junior and a transfer from Georgia.
We've seen Lawler all over the floor
No
tonight.
kidding.
And she had a really good weekend this past weekend against UTA and UIW as well.
Cameron Specia serving for Texas Tech, and it's wide. AC gets the 12th point.
Point, ACU. And to serve now for the Wildcats is Logan Browning.
And Browning's going to serve it for the Wildcats. 10 ACU players tonight have seen the floor. Tech has really emptied out the bench, and they've been able to get a lot of ladies' different experiences tonight. Back row, Tony. Teams go back and forth. They go to the freshman Steinhilber. And miscue, and Tech's 2 points away. Got a busy season of volleyball on ESPN. The entire WAC slate. And you can watch volleyball on ESPN here from Abilene, Texas again. September the 22nd. Prairie View A&M will be in town on a Wednesday night here on ESPN+. At the net again, 24-12, and it is the first match point now for Texas Tech here tonight. Red Raiders have looked great tonight, haven't they?
They definitely have, and I think you can credit that to a lot of their blocking, but also their serve receive has been really, really good as well. They haven't been out of system too many times tonight, and it's definitely made a difference for them in the hitting areas.
Steinhilber with the kill.
Steinhilber to serve.
Second match point. A chance for Tech to win it here. At the net.
That was a good dig off the block by Tech.
ACU on the move and wide from Lindsey Tony to end the night here at the Teague Center. 25-17, 25-15, 25-13. This has been a presentation of the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. We say so long. Take care. Good night from Abilene, Texas.